Howdy, folks. This is Billy from BillyGoesHiking.com, and this is my abridged gear walkthrough video. If you've already watched the longer gear walkthrough video, first thing, thank you so much for the time and support. I realize it turned out to be a pretty long video. Secondly, there's nothing I'm going to cover today that I didn't already cover in that video. So if you've already seen that one, feel free to skip this. There's no new content. Like I said, it's just a shorter version that's a little bit more palatable for some of my viewers. Um, if you get to the end of this video and you think to yourself, man, that was quick, I didn't get a lot of detail on some of this stuff, there is that longer video, which will be linked in the description to this video as well as from the blog post. There's some more information on my blog itself. Again, that's billygoeshiking.com. There will be a link in the description to this video to my lighter pack page, which has all of these items weighed out on a scale. It's got pictures and links to where you could purchase them yourself. And then finally, you can just give me a shout if you want to talk more about any of this stuff. I really love talking about gear and messing around with different gear and new setups. So just holler at me and we can talk through it. So now that stuff's out of the way, let's pack this backpack. So this is the Gossamer Gear Gorilla 40-liter backpack. This is now, the version they make now is a 50-liter backpack, so it's a little bit different if you were going to buy it today. And also, there's a couple things that are unique about this one. It's got two of these bottle rockets, which are also made by Gossamer Gear. I'll show you those in a second when I pack my water bottles, but I'm actually going to hold my water on the front of my body instead of inside pockets on the back. And then this backrest is actually an 1/8-inch foam sleeping pad that's folded over. It's got 5 sections folded over 4 times. And this will go between my inflatable sleeping pad and then whatever's underneath it. So it could be this ground sheet or it could be this bug bivy, just depending on the conditions. So the first thing that's going to go in this backpack is my quilt. I've got an Enlightened Equipment Revelation 20-degree down quilt. It's going to go in 2 layers of nylon flume bags that are going to act as my water protection inside my backpack. And 2 layers just as a backup. And then if one fails in the field, I've always got another one. This is definitely my most water sensitive item. If down gets wet, it doesn't work very well. So really important that it stays dry, and that's where the nylon flume comes in. I love the nylon flume bags. They're really lightweight. There's other stuff you could use, turkey bags or actual dedicated pack liners, but those are generally not quite as lightweight as something like this nylon flume bag is. And I actually learned the other day these nylon flume bags, their intended purpose is if your home gets fumigated, this is what you put your food in to keep it from getting chemicals all in it. So that's the intended use, but they've gotten really popular in the backpacking community because they are super lightweight and they're waterproof and relatively durable. The other thing that's going to go in that double layer of protection is my sleeping pad, my inflatable sleeping pad, because like I said, I do have that foam pad. This is the Thermarest Neo Air Uberlight inflatable pad. It's a size large. You'll notice a trend. All my stuff, I forwent the stuff sacks. They're kind of just useless weight. Same goes here. I've got a rubber band tied around it. It's just rolled up. You inflate that with your mouth, and it's pretty comfortable. I've tested a pretty good amount. I had the Neo Air X Lite for a long time before switching to the Uberlight. I'm a little bit worried about the durability, but I've heard okay things, and I'm going to go for it. And if I need my wife or one of my friends to send me my old X Lite, that's always an option. So those are all the things that are going to go in that double layer of nylon flume protection. So I went ahead and wrapped off the top of the bag there and pushed it down a little bit. So if we keep packing, we're just going to kind of move my left to right. I'm not sure which orientation it's going to be on the video, but we'll keep going with the sleep system. So this is my bug bivy. This is the Bora Gear Ultralight Bug Bivy. It's got sil nylon on the bottom and no CM bug mesh on the top. So if it is buggy, this will protect me. If it's raining really hard, the sil nylon floor will be nice because it kind of bathtubs up as a part of my shelter system to keep me a little bit drier than I would be otherwise. So you just kind of zip yourself in there. Bivvies are not for everyone, but I've had good luck with that one. Particularly the bug bivvy is a little bit less claustrophobic than if I had, for example, like sil nylon or event, on top of my body. So next thing I'm going to pack, this is my jacket. It's a synthetic insulated jacket, so still definitely sensitive to water, but not quite as much as the quilt. This is the Nunatak JMT pullover. This was a custom order. I love Nunatak. They were super nice in accommodating that custom order. They actually weren't selling this model of jacket at the time, and I just shot them an email, and they made it happen. So shout out Nunatak. The JMT jacket. It's awesome. Really excited to put that thing through the ringer. And that likewise, just get stuff down pretty small. But the rest of my clothes then are going to go on top of that. And obviously, so I'm wearing actually my hiking shirt today, but um, not all my clothes are going to live in the backpack all the time. A lot of them are going to be on my body, and it's just going to kind of vary with the conditions. So I'll just tell you about what each of them are. I'm going to pack all of them, but keep in mind that they won't actually all get packed when I actually, go out and hike. So I'll start with my base layer. These are both made by Patagonia. This is the Capilene lightweight tights. This is the Capilene Air thermal crew. The shirt, or the top, I should say, is new to me as of probably 6 or 7 months ago. Very excited to test that out. Other kind of colder weather stuff. I've got a beanie. I've got a buff that are both wool. I think actually the beanie's cashmere, which I think is a type of wool, but whatever. I've got Injinji socks. Normally I've got 2 pair of these, but this is just one of them. The other pair is dirty right now. And then I've got some possum down gloves sold by Z-Packs. I don't know who manufactures these, but I'm mentioning all this stuff together because all this stuff may either get sent home to be replaced with something a little bit more lightweight, or just sent home all together as the weather gets a little bit warmer and I get a little further north. So all that stuff go in the backpack. I may need to hike with it on, early on, but hopefully not the whole time. These are my running shorts, hiking shorts, whatever. These are made by BOA. These will be my day-to-day shorts, especially when it gets warm enough to just wear shorts. And then finally, I've got some wind pants that are also made by Enlightened Equipment. So same folks that made my quilt. These are the Copperfield wind pants. They're super lightweight, and these combined with the tights actually do provide a decent amount of warmth and then obviously wind protection. So really like those. And that's all of the clothes with the exception of some rain mitts that I pack in the outside of the backpack. They'll show you in a minute. So the other stuff that's going to go in the main body of the backpack, this is a DCF bear bag from Z-Packs. This will hold all of my food. It's got a little carabiner that's a part of the hanging aspect of it because I do plan on hanging my food away from where I'm camping. This is the bear line that I'll use to do that. This is sold by Mountain Laurel Designs. And then this is a Talenti gelato container that I'm going to use to cold soak my food. So not planning on bringing a stove or cooking things that are going to be warm. It'll just be, rehydrating dehydrated food or eating food that's just ready to go, candy bars and granola, stuff like that. So excited about that. Obviously never done a trip this long before. So we'll see if I can tolerate the stoveless life for the entirety or if I'll get sick of it at some point. Maybe when I ditch some of those cold weather clothes, I'll pick up a stove. But I guess you don't need the stove as much when it gets warmer outside. This is my ditty bag. So this is a gallon bag Ziploc with 3 sandwich size Ziploc bags in it. And these are all the things that just don't go anywhere else. These are things like technology, so battery, charging cables, wall outlet. Wall outlet's not the right word. I'm not bringing an outlet with me, but you know what I mean. The part that plugs into the wall. Tools and repair kits. So I've got a repair kit for my air pad. I've got some scissors, some lighters, stuff like that. First aid hygiene. So sunscreen, bug spray, backup water filtration, just all sorts of stuff. Odds and ends goes in this bag. And all that stuff is generally, 2 layers plus of waterproofing. And that's everything that goes in the main body of the bag. So similarly to the first Nilo Flume bag, I'm going to wrap off the top of that second Nilo Flume bag and go ahead and close the lid of the backpack. So this isn't like a roll top backpack or anything. It just kind of folds over on itself. But it's a good segue because the next thing we're going to pack is this lid. So the lid itself actually has a pretty sizable pocket on it. There was a while where Gossamer Gear made this backpack with like a detachable brain. They don't do that anymore, and I like this better, so I'm glad they switched back. But this is going to hold stuff that is either sensitive or delicate, or it's stuff that I want to be able to get to quickly. So this is my glasses case. It's a Crystal Light container I took the label off of. It's got my sunglasses in there right now in a microfiber cloth. But I do wear eyeglasses, particularly if I'm going to be reading at night or trying to see at night. I can usually see okay during the day without them, but this is a mini deck of cards. It's in a Ziploc bag for some water protection. And this lives up here just because I want to be able to get to it quickly. Same thing goes for this harmonica. Both the cards and the harmonica are kind of frivolous weight penalties, but I'm okay with that because I think I'll have a good time with them and hopefully make some new friends. This is made by Ben's Bug Protection. It's a bug head net. I like physical protection from bugs a little bit better than chemical protection, so hopefully we'll be using that more than I'll be using the 100% bins DEET spray that's in my ditty bag. This is my pillow. It's the Big Sky Dream Sleeper inflatable pillow. That buff that I showed you earlier will act as a pillowcase, and I got rid of the stuff sack for this thing, so that makes it a lot more vulnerable. So that's why I keep it in this top pouch. That's everything that's going to go in the lid of the backpack. So this backpack has a hip belt with 2 pockets. One of them is going to have the phone that's shooting this video, cash, cards, stuff like that. The other one, I'm going to keep these 3 items in. So it's my headlamp, it's some Dr. Bronner's unscented baby mild soap, which has a lot of different uses, and then this knife, which I'll probably mostly be using for food preparation more than anything else. But so that's all just going to go in one of these hip belt pockets. Like I said, I don't have anything to actually put in the other one, but it's going to have some stuff in it too. So the next thing I'm going to do is pack the side pockets. And so the first side pocket, it's got these are all of my guy lines that I'll use to set up my shelter, and also a longer length of guy line to use as a clothesline, because I do plan to do laundry with that gallon bag Ziploc when I'm on the trail, in addition to doing it in town. And then this black stretchier piece of cord is the waistband that I wear with this poncho tarp when it's in poncho mode, so that it's not blowing everywhere. So those are all going to go in one of these big side pockets. I've actually got a ton of room left in these side pockets, so if I pick up some extra stuff along the way, that's probably where it'll go. This is actually new to me from the last video, so I lied at the outset because I hadn't talked about this. This is the stick pick. It's a monopod trekking pole attachment, so I'll be able to put this on the end of my trekking pole and put my phone right in there and take better quality pictures and videos while I'm hiking. These 2 things together weigh like an ounce. The stick pick, it's a small company. It's one guy, I think, making these things. So was really stoked to support him, and I think it's a cool idea. I'm excited to mess around with trying to, support this with guy lines and have like more of a tripod even than just a monopod. But I'll put that trekking pole back over there because we'll talk about that in a minute. So the other side pocket is going to have 2 things. It's going to have this half-liter smart water bottle. This is what I'll use to wash my hands. This is what I'll use to shower. It's got a standard lid, but I also have a lid where I poke some holes in it to use as a shower head, quote unquote. And then I'll also be using it for my bidet, so I'll show you the bidet in a second. But that's going to go in that side pocket, so I'm going to go ahead and stick it in there. Label removed, the little plastic ring around the top removed for weight savings. This cup is the bottom half of an Essentia 1 liter water bottle. So this is what I'll use to scoop up dirty water out of water sources and then transfer it into my drinking bottles. But it has a secondary use. This is what keeps all of my sharp stuff. So these are Mountain Safety Research carbon core stakes. I've got 9 of them to support my shelter. This is a Sea to Summit titanium spork. And this is the Tent Lab Deuce of Spades trowel number 2. So that's what I'll dig cat holes with. So all that stuff will live in here just so it doesn't poke holes in any of my more valuable stuff. If I poke holes in this Essentia bottle, I can always just buy a new one. And then this is the ultralight or backcountry bidet that I was telling you about. So this will stuff into the top of that half-liter smart water bottle. It's got a little slit that can squirt water out. Put a couple drops of soap in there. I'll let your imagination handle the rest. But all that stuff, like I said, just fits in this side pocket here next to that half-liter smart water bottle. So next, we'll talk about my actual drinking water bottles. So I've got 2 of them. So 2 liters of carrying capacity in total, 2 1-liter smart water bottles. That should be sufficient for the AT, but if I find myself needing to upgrade or downgrade, I can definitely do that along the way. Both of these bottles, I have stripped off the label. I've taken off the plastic ring around the top, and then I've also purchased from Gossamer Gear the bottle upgrade kit. So this is not a stock smart water lid. It's a push-pull to close. I like that a lot better. And then this one, in line with the bottle upgrade system, also has the Sawyer squeeze water filter. So this is my primary water filtration system. Like I said, in my ditty bag, I also have some backup repackaged Aquamira. So these 2 are going to, like I said, fit in these bottle rockets, which is new to me, but I'm really excited about trying it out. If I hate it, I'll send them home, whatever. They obviously are a little bit of a weight penalty, but it's freed up a lot of space in those big side pockets, and these are just so much more accessible while you're hiking as compared to those big side pockets, because you kind of have to awkwardly reach back to access them. So that's everything on kind of the pockets of the backpack. with the exception of this big sleeve. This is the last thing we'll talk about. So there's a big mesh pocket here on the outside. It's just got this elastic closure that's kind of keeping stuff in there. It's got a ton of space and stuff that's in here. There's grommets in the bottom where it can drain out. And then there's also the mesh. So stuff that's wet can dry in this outside pocket, whereas it would not be able to do that inside the nyloflume bags. So this is where I keep stuff that might get wet. I mentioned my bug bivy earlier. That sometimes might go out there as well. But I'm going to pack these things in the order that I would normally pack them. So that's going to require me to rearrange a little bit, which is okay. This is a polycro ground sheet. I actually misspoke on my last video and said that this was used as a painting tarp. That's wrong. This is used as window insulation. Shout out Brian for reminding me. I don't think he intentionally did that, but he did because he watched the long video. So there you go. But this is going to go on the outside. So this is just what my bivy will go on top of to kind of protect it. Some nights maybe my inflatable pad will go on top of it. And I'm sorry if there's a lot of noise. Obviously, it's very crinkly. But that just goes stuff down on the bottom there. The next thing, and I've mentioned this a couple of times, this is my poncho tarp. It's made by Mountain Laurel Designs. It's the Pro Poncho Tarp. This is the Sil Nylon version. I did have to seam seal it, which was a little bit of an interesting experience. But this will be my rain jacket. This will be a pack cover when it's raining. So when it's in poncho mode, it does go over me and the backpack as well. And then at night, the hood rolls up and I'll pitch it as a tarp. I've been tarp camping for a long time. This will be the first trip long trip, I should say, where I'll be using the poncho tarp. So I'm super excited about it. Hopefully it will work. If it doesn't, I may have to rethink it, but I really like the idea of it because it allows you to have a pretty modular sleep setup at a pretty light weight. These are the Mountain Laurel Designs Event 3-layer rain mitts, also ones that I'd seam sealed. These will keep my hands dry. They can go on top of those gloves I showed you earlier or directly against my skin, but they'll just live in that big pocket as well. And then the last item I'll show you here is the Garmin InReach Mini GPS device. So this is what's going to allow me to communicate consistently. I mean, the AT has pretty good cell signal, but this will be in addition to that. And this is also my backup GPS because I'm actually using my phone GPS as my primary GPS. So if something were to happen to my phone, I'd be using this to figure out exactly where I was. And I also use it. I can send messages to my wife and it tells her my exact coordinates, which is pretty cool and has some preset messages. So that's just going to live on the outside of the backpack. If I was in a situation where I was worried about getting separated from my backpack, like a river crossing or something like that, I may just hold it in my hand or clip it to an article of clothing if that's possible. But that's that. The last thing I'm going to show you, and this doesn't go in the backpack, so I guess technically I didn't have a place in this video since I'm packing the backpack. But these are the Gossamer Gear LT5 trekking poles. I'll use these during the day to hike. One of them's got about 15 to 20 turns of duct tape around the handle just as backup. I've got some more specialty types of tape in my ditty bag. But I'll use these during the day to support my walks, and then I'll use them at night to support my shelter. So that tarp, poncho tarp, actually pitches using the guy lines and stakes that I showed you earlier between these two trekking poles or other natural anchors, but I definitely can pitch it between the trekking poles if needed. And then lastly, I said earlier, these will be useful for photography and shooting film as a monopod. So that's the short version of all my gear. Like I said, if you want to learn more, you can watch the long video. You can check out the blog, check out the lighter pack. All that's going to be linked in the description of the video, or just give me a shout. Billy at billygoeshiking.com. I'm always happy to talk about gear. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So I'm getting super excited about this through hike attempt coming up here in a few weeks. And I hope I'll have the opportunity to continue to share with you guys along the way and maybe have some new opinions about some of these pieces of gear that might be newer to my setup. So thanks again for the time, and yeah, looking forward to it.